Clueless is an American coming-of-age film centered around a girl named Cher, an attractive, stylish, good-natured, and popular girl in Beverly Hills during the mid-90s. The film follows her as she is transformed by life experiences, romantic adventures, social relationships, and the psychological development from a clueless, materialistic teenager into a mindful and understanding, well-rounded individual. Clueless also showcases her glamorous, growing yet close-knit social circle as she and her best friend Dionne introduce a transfer student into their world. The film has become highly recognized and loved for its 90s style that has been considered to be timeless and often referenced even now, as it is considered to be one of the best teen films of all time through its humor, relatability, overall visuals, and fashion. Through the development of these characters, their fashion tangibly captures and visually communicates who they are, who they like to be, and what kind of social group they belong to, much like in real life. Clueless is a film where style is not just a variable to serve visually, but a reflection of a person's complexity as a unique individual in regards to their identity and social standing. This is heightened in adolescence. During development, so each character, even if minor, has their style be a part of their personality to capture their spirit, attitude, and social grouping. The psychological developments within coming of age is a universal experience that many undergo in their own way. Many films focus on this passage because it's the first mission we all have in life, to build a personality which conjures up a collective of all these variables into an identity. It's ingrained into the human experience and is one that, no matter how much we develop and change, remains intact. The story of Clueless captures this pivotal time in development and translates this on screen in a very lighthearted way, with a Hollywood ending, but it is one that has withstood the test of time, since it is a loose adaptation of Jane Austen's novel of 1815, titled Emma, featuring many mirroring scenes and character counterparts, trading off Regency-era England for 1990s Beverly Hills, yet still holds the wit, fun, and at its roots, human experience that makes the story so captivating, along with the immersive cinematography and a lot of iconic fashion. For instance, Cher's Dolce & Gabbana set is an archetypal take on the decade's aesthetic and does not truly capture the fashion of this era accurately. Murray wore Sean John to set him apart from the other boys, to have a look that matches Dionne's high-end look, and Christian is meant to have a vintage look, very reminiscent of the 1940s, as other examples. More commonly, teenagers would have a look Ty most accurately has. The costume designer notes that she is dressed in a Kurt Cobain-inspired grunge, an ode to the trends of the period. This is because grunge became cool due to pop culture and economical issues, so high-end fashion wasn't a common choice for many people. Bands like Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam also had a huge influence as they had this grunge look and were very empowering through their music. As a result, many people protested and made their own trends that have become a huge part of pop culture, even making it into one of the most iconic films. On the opposite end of the spectrum, with some overlap of looks, the supermodel era had huge influence of models such as Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, Chrissy Turlington, and more, becoming fashion icons. This era in fashion is when clothing shifted from specific tailoring to mass production. This is when it became a norm that people began to change their bodies to fit clothes, causing a rise in the beauty and dietary industry. This became very trendy as a lot of famous celebrities had this look. People admired them and strived to achieve the same runway-esque look. Cher and Dionne fall into this category. This is evident with Dionne's love for avant-garde fashion and always sporting eye-catching looks, while Cher turns to many designers.
Where's my white collarless shirt and red seagull? A dress.
Says who?
Calvin Klein. No, you don't understand. This isn't a liar. It's like a totally important designer.
The costume designer Mona May states, "We wanted to change the trends and give permission for women to be girly. I couldn't take that from what the teens were wearing, so I truly had to reinvent it. These girls were so wealthy that they themselves probably went to runway shows and were able to really choose whatever they wanted. I had to think, how would they take items from the runways and really make it fit into their world?" So working with the trends of the times along with a more artistic aesthetic take, she created a mixture of designer and vintage pieces that would suit a fashion-conscious girl, but retain a girlish youthfulness that is very lighthearted. This can be found in Cher's 60 different outfit changes. With inspiration from the 60s and 70s, the costume designer created a color hyper-feminine take on what the 90s fashion could be, eventually creating a new wave of preppy minimalist looks that are now often associated with the decade. The film helped make feminine fashion more beloved and embraced again, even still holding this sort of influence in today's fashion, as many see themselves, reference, and love the looks of the characters, so they buy pieces inspired by the film. Buying behaviors are based on personal, social, cultural, and psychological factors that hold great influence on decision-making processes. It's important to keep in mind that not every buyer is driven by their own self-created belief system. There will always be a subset of customers who are more driven by influence and external factors, such as trends, social or media influences. Their value system is built by the concept of belonging, rather than self-identity. In the beginning of the film, Cher lacks a lot of substance. She is quite naive, yet very good-natured, a loyal friend, and looks out for people in her life. She is very into fashion, beauty, and holds these parts of her life to a very high standard, even at times valuing it over her own life.
Down on the ground, face down. Come on!
Oh no, you don't understand. This isn't a lie.
Cher's fashion conveys her privileged upbringing through her runway-inspired looks, but still holds a classic aura and innocence because that is who she is as a person. She finds this aspirational because of her influences, such as her beautiful mother who passed away, fashion magazines, and educational pursuits, which is then validated by the world around her.
She's my friend because we both know what it's like to have people be jealous of us. I must give her snaps for her courageous fashion efforts.
And holds similar interests. They have an overlap of style and often coordinate outfits, as well as having similar styling approaches or opting for similar pieces, such as pleated miniskirts, bold feminine colors, and overall monochromatic outfits, though in the same social group and having a close friendship. For example, one trait that shows differences is awareness. Dionne, though, is more aware of the world around her, understands how things work, and is very well-spoken in comparison to Cher.
Why black and white for Dionne?
Because it's more sophisticated, you know. I mean, she was always kind of the one-up, like with her look. She wore the mini skirts. She had, a lot of like vinyl and just brighter and more fun colors.
Dionne's looks are much more accessorized, and she can work very well with a lot because she's detail-oriented. For instance, her plaid ensemble with a cropped red cardigan, in contrast with Cher's simple yellow ensemble. Dionne accessorizes with a hat and elevates, with silver chains, hoops, and a nose ring, while Cher's look is much more minimal, but has a brighter color in terms of saturation, an ode to personality as well. It's clear that the two are friends, have similar backgrounds, and are in the same social circle, but have unique traits that can be found in their personal style. Cher then goes out of her way to bring Tai into the group. Their friendship grows and the girls become close, often holding influence and looking to each other for guidance. Relationships in life hold great influence over one and their purchases, contributing to their social identity. This is an individual's concept of self-derived versus perceived relevance within a social group. Fashion plays a role in this, as personal style contributes to the image of a person and can provide a sense of belonging, aid in self-esteem, and individualism within their social world. This is not simple, as a person will fall into many social identifications. For example, Cher has multiple social identities: daughter, best friend, student, frenemy, etc. Her fashion doesn't just function in relation to one group, but within many. Although there is an overlap, her fashion does not work in every role that she falls into.
Go upstairs and put something over it.
Yeah, I was just going to.
In sociology and social psychology, an in-group is a social group to which a person psychologically identifies as being a member. In Clueless, Cher's social circle is the in-group. While they may not have the same exact look, their fashion holds the same essence, and the differences lie within differing social identities, interests, personality types, and other factors that make them each very unique.
Christian, he always wants things to be beautiful and interesting. Or Dionne and Murray, when they think no one is watching, are so considerate of each other.
Style is a medium of conversation about who we are and who we are not as an individual. This aspect of identity is kept in mind, as a majority of people belonging to a social group with an overall identity will either sculpt or express their identities to the world in a way that highlights the attributes of the group. Other groups will either find this aspirational or not be drawn to it at all. How one dresses shows the world where they stand in society in terms of social grouping, while these may not be so rigid, but rather normalized, like workplace attire or school dress code. A clique, often being developmental adolescents, will take this to another level, as people are striving to find themselves and receive validation about their view of themselves. It's not uncommon for people who are friends to dress in a similar style, as they usually have similar alignments, past experiences, economic status, educational achievements, traits, and so on.
You don't want to start off on the wrong foot now, do you?
When in-group bias takes over, though, people begin to shape themselves based off of other people's perception, which reinforces the perception they have on themselves. This is the looking glass self, a social psychological concept created by Charles Horton Cooley, stating that a person's self grows out of society's interpersonal interactions and perceptions of others. George Mead developed a theory of social behavior and relation. The central concept is the self. The part of the individual's personality is composed of self-awareness and self-image. Mead claims that this is not there fully at birth, rather developed through social experience. Fashion's role in this is that it tangibly collects all the fragments of knowledge and experiences that people gain through the world and then captures this within a single garment, no matter how simple or complex. Clothing can exert dominance and create a sense of control through an instant change to one's physical state.
Let's do a makeover.
No.
Oh, come on, let us. Cher's main thrill in life is a makeover, okay? It gives her a sense of control in a world full of chaos.
When done well, there is a systematic influence that a garment can have on the wearer's psychological processes. In the case of Tai, a transfer student who instantly stands out against her peers due to differences of style and appearance, as she is a girl from the north who has a very grunge-inspired look. With the makeover and becoming more in tune with her social environment, she adopts the attitudes of the selected group. Without this being authentic, she loses her own traits and replaces them with the main ideals of the group. The clothes help her integrate in socially and change how she views herself. Fashion that doesn't align with one can be very tolling psychologically. This is done for a number of reasons, like assimilating into a group, a form of protection, or functional practices. This can alter one in a dramatic way. For example, for Tai, she develops an overconfident, brash attitude and sheds away her more laid-back, chill demeanor into one that is harsh and unkind, since she has taken on an identity that doesn't truly align with her being. It takes control of her because of this social high. She wants to shift to those that she should have, but are out of tune with her social group. After a fight, left alone, Cher realizes that she hasn't helped Ty, but rather created a monster out of her own image. In the pursuit of becoming altruistic, when Ty changes back to her quote-unquote old style, we still see influences of Cher and Dionne's makeover, as Ty's former identity is now a part of her. Within social groups, people generally strive to maintain positive image and are subject to in-group bias. If there is a shared belief, people will continue to hold on to these perceptions and upkeep them. This usually happens over a lifetime, but the makeover in film takes this development and captures it in one sped-up sequence.
Later, while we were learning about the Pismo Beach disaster, I decided I needed a complete makeover. Except this time, I make over my soul.
Dr. Julia Wagner states, movie makeovers play out a wish fulfillment that we can all, with just a little expertise, transform into a beautiful, confident creature. The makeover in film is connected to the relationship of the viewer's desire and fulfillment. This is constructed from cultural ideas, experiences, and subjective viewpoints around appearance, beauty, and fashion. It's been many years since Jane Austen's Emma, who she described her heroine as a girl that no one but myself will much like. The modern story of Clueless celebrates and plays with this concept through the unapologetic, hyper-feminine fashion and breaking stereotypes about what it means to have this look. In this instance, Cher is superficial, obsessed with appearances, and holds onto a lot of traditionally feminine traits, which in most media would make her be very disliked, viewed in a negative manner, or cause assumptions about her personality, but she is the most likable, kind, and positive character in the film, despite the typically thought of attributes of her social group. The positivity around Cher's personality, demeanor, and actions has aided in bringing this fashion into a more positive light and making it highly coveted after the film's release, even to the point that it still holds relevancy today in both the common market and high-end fashion. One's inspirations, fashion, makeover, or grooming activities should enhance life and how they feel about themselves, not detract. What other people think of how others look or choose to style themselves to a point doesn't matter, as everyone has different preferences for what is beautiful or fashionable. What matters is that you feel comfortable and happy with yourself. Clueless shows the value in this connection with yourself along with social standing and relationships with others. The main message of the film is how easy it is to be caught up in your own world. Cher overcomes this and develops into a truly thoughtful person through her actions, new mindful thought processes, true recognition of others, and overall relationships. Her look does not drastically change, but her views of it, the world around her, and relationships do, visually confirming that she is truly herself and has worked to improve into a better version of herself. The development of one's personal style tangibly attests to the ability to overcome challenges, faults, and being lost into a celebration of our own individuality, unique traits, and selves. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment. Thank you so much for watching.